In this section, we're going to write the equation of a line in y equals mx plus b form. You'll remember y equals mx plus b form. That's called the slope-intercept form. And that's where m is the slope of the line, and the y-intercept of the line is the point 0, comma b. The y-intercept always has an x value equal to 0. Now, we're also going to use the point slope form. The point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where m is again the slope, but this time there's a point on the line, not necessarily the y-intercept, and the coordinates of that point are x1, comma y1. And when all is said and done, we're going to convert that point slope form into y equals mx plus b form by using the distributive property and then solving for y. So let's see how this works in example 1a. We're going to write the equation described in point slope form. Now let's remember what point slope form is. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. x1 comma y1 is the point, so x1 is 2, y1 is negative 5, and m is our slope, negative 4. So we're going to replace y1 with negative 5. So y minus negative 5 is the same as y plus 5 equals the slope, negative 4, times x minus the x1 value, which is 2. Now we'll use the distributive property. And be careful when distributing a negative. That's going to be y equals negative 4x plus 8. And then subtract off the 5. And that gives us y equals negative 4x plus 3. And we're going to stop because now it's in y equals mx plus b form. Let's check out one more example of this type. So again, we have our x1 comma y1 value and our slope. So y minus the y value of the point, be careful about the order here, negative 15 comes first for the point as the x value, but 1 comes first in the equation as the y value. All right, so y minus the y value equals the slope times x minus the x value, so that'll be x plus 15. Now let's distribute. Y equals 2/3 x plus, and when we're distributing this fraction, ask yourself, what's 1/3 of 15? That's 5. So 2/3 must be 10. And now adding 1 to both sides, that gives us y equals 2/3 x plus 11. That's one type of situation where we're given a point and a slope. So we can use the point slope form and then convert to y equals of x plus b form. There's a second type, and that's a type where we're given 2 points. So let's check out one like this. Now we can't start by writing it in point slope form because we don't have the slope, but we can compute the slope. So I'm going to write that template for the slope computation. We're going to subtract the y's on the top, 8 minus negative 2, and subtract the x's on the bottom, 6 minus 1. 8 minus negative 2 is 10, 6 minus 1 is 5. So that's a slope of 2. Now at this point, you can use whichever one of the 2 points you wish. So I'm just going to use the first one. It's up to you. The answer will come out the same regardless. So y minus the y value of the point, so we're using that y value first, equals the slope 2 times x minus the x value of the point. Now let's use the distributive property and then subtract 2 from both sides, and we get y equals 2x minus 4. All right, one more example of this type. We need to figure the slope first. So the slope is, I'll just write the template for the computation first. Subtract those y's on the top, 5 minus 1, and subtract the x's on the bottom, negative 3 minus 3. Did we do it in the right order? Yes. 5 and 1 should be on the top, and then same order on the bottom, negative 3 first, and then positive 3 second. So 5 minus 1 is 4. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6, so that gives us a slope of negative 2/3. All right, now again, pick whichever point you want. So I'm just going to use 3, 1. y minus the y value of the point equals the slope times x minus the x value of the point. And let's distribute. Be careful when distributing a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. And 2/3 of 3 is 2. From this point, we just need to add 1 to solve for y. And we get y equals -2/3 x plus 3. And we are done.